Welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. I just want to say thank you for coming back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about a movie that I just recently saw that I absolutely loved. And that movie is Split, the new M. Night Shyamalan film starring James McAvoy from the most recent X-Men series. So, what can I say about Split without giving anything away? Now, I'm not going to spoil anything in this review. I'm actually going to split this movie. See what I just did there? I'm going to split this review up into two parts. I'm going to have a second video where I'm literally just going to talk about the ending for a few minutes because the ending of this movie is kind of mind-blowing. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's start talking about the movie. So, Split is the new movie by M. Night Shyamalan. The story is basically James McAvoy is a guy that's not so well in the head. He has 23 personalities. He has a split personality disorder. And basically, he kidnaps these three girls who are, I'm guessing, high school students. They're about that age. And he kidnaps them and keeps them for reasons unknown. I'll say that much. I'm not going to say any more than that, but the movie basically just deals with their confinement by McAvoy and how they deal with it and things that happen along the way. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot of the movie. I have a little card here with stuff that I wrote on it, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at, just so you know I'm cheating. But basically, Split is a masterfully directed film by M. Night Shyamalan. This is kind of the movie I've been waiting for Shyamalan since I'd say around like the time of like The Village. After that movie, Shyamalan to me went way downhill. Actually, jokingly, I've been referring to him in the past as M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong. And that is, the only reason why I've been doing that is because his movies have been pretty much garbage up until the Visit last year, which I heard is very good. I have not seen it. It came out in a very odd time. When that movie came out, for whatever reason, I just missed it, and I have not had the chance to buy it or rent it or do anything like that. So, but I've heard that's a very good film, but this is definitely this is a great film. I really enjoyed the crap out of Split. One main reason why I really enjoyed this movie is that James McAvoy puts on a damn acting clinic in this movie. He is unbelievable in this film. His performance is definitely Oscar-worthy. There is a scene where he's talking to his therapist in this movie, who also is actually played by Betty Buckley, who does a great job in this film. And there's a scene where he's talking to her, and mid-conversation, he switches personalities. And it is astoundingly done. It's in one take, and this guy does it just absolutely phenomenally. This is hands down his best performance I've ever seen him in. And he is really good as Professor X in the X-Men movies, the last couple X-Men movies. But in this, he's a tour de force in this movie. Also, Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays one of the girls that gets kidnapped, is also just spectacular in this. And I think that she's got a great career ahead of her. She was in the movie Morgan recently, which I did not see, but I've heard she's very good in that. She was astounding in the movie The Witch. If you have not seen that, it's on some of the streaming services now. Definitely check that out. That is definitely like a Kubrickian-style horror movie. I really enjoyed that movie. That is a great, great film. Now, I can't call Split a horror movie. It's more of a suspense film than anything else. Moments in this movie where you could cut the tension in the theater with a knife. And I did not see this in a packed theater. I saw this in a pretty small, with a small group of people, I should say. And there were a couple audible gasps during this film, and I gave some of them. There are some really intense moments, almost Hitchcock-level kinds of tension in this movie. Definitely just a great, great suspense film. You really don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. You have no idea. It's the plot of this movie is so, I don't want to say it's thin because it's not. The plot is so open to different things. I mean, there's so many different things that could happen during the course of this movie, that it's nerve-wracking to watch at certain points. I think the character backstory that you get in this film is very tragic, but it's nice to see that, like, your main character, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, when they reveal her backstory, it's really, really, it really just adds to the overall drama of the film. It's very well done, and when you realize what's going on after the big reveal, it's very cool to see what's going on with her character, because she's obviously not right as well, not as obviously psychologically damaged as James McAvoy is, but she's definitely got some problems, and when her problems are finally revealed, it just adds even more character to her part in the film, and it's really well done. Honestly, I think, this is the best movie from Shyamalan probably since Signs. This is just a really well-made film. The only thing I can say as a negative about the movie is that the pacing of it at some points is very slow, but it's purposefully slow. This is not an out-and-out, exciting action film. It's a slow-paced suspense film, and there's nothing wrong with that. Shyamalan is doing that on purpose to give you a sense of dread, of unease, and it works in this movie. Some movies it doesn't. This one it really works in, and I'm glad he handled it that way. I mean, the cinematography in the film is phenomenal. There's a few shots where I openly said to my friend when I was seeing it, when I was watching it, I said, that's a good shot. I said, there's some shots in this. I'm like, that was good. That's a good shot. I really enjoyed the cinematography of this film, and of course, Shyamalan is he's back to form, man. He's back to form in this, and I was very glad to see that, because a couple of his movies I've seen in the past were just really, really bad. The Happening being like one of the worst movies like I've ever sat through in my life, laughably bad in certain parts. So I'm glad to see that he's back in action in this. I think the ending is going to really separate people. I think the ending is going to be pretty divisive. The ending has this gigantic twist in it, and I don't know if I was the only one in the audience me and my friend were maybe the only people in the audience that actually got the ending, but we may have been. And it's not a confusing ending, but if you don't get it, if you do 2 seconds of research, you can really figure out what the whole big thing is about. And I didn't see it coming from a mile away. I just didn't, and I was very glad that it happened. And again, I'm not going to say any more than that, but literally the last frame of the film changes the entire thing, and it's pretty crazy that he had the balls to do that, and I'm glad that he did. But yeah, my hat goes off to M. Night. He really has brought a very, very finely tuned suspense film, with a hell of a twist at the end of it. And again, Shyamalan again with the twists. I mean, he is like back to being the king of the twists now in my mind. He's astounding. He's a great, great director. Even though, again, when he's on the money, he's a great director. When he's doing something I think it doesn't interest him, it shows. But this movie, you can definitely tell he had a lot invested in this, and it paid off, and it paid off big time. So I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. This is the best movie I've seen so far this year. I absolutely loved Split, and I hope Shyamalan continues on with these kind of films, because this is what he's good at. And man, I'll tell you, it's just a great watch. And yeah, so that's the end of my non-spoiler review. Now we're gonna do another video coming up very shortly that is gonna talk about the ending and spoilers in the film. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Until then, I'm Andrew Cavanaugh. I want to say thank you for coming back to Cavanaugh's Corner, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.